Bulls greeted by a portion of this forum crowd as they try to get back to their locker room. For the Lakers, a different story. The Chicago Bulls' domination of this series has to be considered.
You know, I was reading this book, Relentless, for like the 5th time. If you haven't picked up that book, do so today. Because I think it'll reinforce the mindset we all need to succeed at a high level in whatever we do. In our marriages, in our relationships, for our bodies, for our business. It's a mindset. And he talks about Michael Jordan, and I think everyone knows who Michael Jordan is. Probably one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Over, and the Bulls have won. Jordan beat him at the buzzer with a jump shot in the circle, and Chicago has knocked off the Cavs.
And it talks about his relentless behaviors, right? He expected everyone to rise to his level. Like, he would not slow down. He will not make himself less of a player or less of a person just so somebody else feels better.
Take a look right here. Here's Jordan and Longley coming off the floor, and he is admonishing him for not being in the right place at the right time.
So there was this constant pressure that he would put on his teammates, day in and day out, during practice, during games. He was relentless about the process because he wanted to win. And what was happening, a lot of players were like feeling the pressure. They would feel the pressure, right? But then they would ultimately get what they all seeked, which was the championship.
The Chicago Bulls have won their first ever NBA championship.
And you know, one thing that I was thinking about was, you know, he calls out to the level. He calls out to his teammates to rise up to his level. So what was happening is when Michael was around, he just set a standard. He said, hey, if you're not going to play at my level, I need you to get the hell out of my way. And he was pretty blunt about that. And guess what? Every player on that team excelled. Right? Because they knew that if they didn't play up to Michael's level, they were never going to see the ball again. They were probably just going to sit on the bench. They needed to play at that level. And after Michael retired, or they ended up, let's say one of the players gets traded off, or they opt out to go to a different team, oftentimes the teams that recruited those players that used to play with Michael, they were disappointed. Because many of these players ended up going to their natural skill mentally and physically. You see, when you're in an environment where there's somebody at your ear on a constant basis, right? The same voice that you have within yourself, but you learn to ignore for many years and suppress, it can become overwhelming. There was a lot of players that just couldn't take that pressure. So they saw this themselves out. They're like, well, I can do this on my own. Look how good I am. I'm going to go ahead and go to this team over here, and I won't have to put up with Michael's shit. I won't have to put up with his stuff, and I'll just go with his other team. Little did he realize that Michael's voice is what had him go up to that level of excellence to begin with. And it was for the most players. For most players, after he retired or they left, like the vast majority of players just couldn't play at that capacity, at that level again. Because Michael was just simply reminding them of the things they had learned to ignore over the years. And as I started looking at this brokerage, right, and I start seeing like, some of you have come on board because you guys love the consistency. You guys love the drive that we all have. And it's all good. And you love it and you get fueled by it. You're motivated by it. Until one day it's not. The days you stop showing up and then you look and we're still going. The agents around are still going. No longer is it motivating you, but it's pushing you away. To a point where you're like, I'm good on my own. I'm good on my own. I already know everything AZ is going to say, Coach Carl is going to say, Coach Isaiah. I already know everyone. I know what they're going to do. I'm good. I'm on my way. And I'm not saying you're not. But what I'm saying is, most of us need that constant voice in our ear. That constant reminder of what we need to do. Because when we stop hearing that voice or being in an environment that pushes you to excel, and that's what we do. I'm not trying to push you away. I'm trying to push you to excel, and there is pressure here. And you understand that because I'm calling out to the things you already know. And that's all we're doing. And I remember being in a situation very similar where my coach is constantly in my ear and I'm like, God, just leave me. I know what to do. And I would get triggered. As my business starts slowing down because I've created some distance between me and my coach. And then I look and this dude is doing like 10 times more than what he was the last time I spoke to him. But you know what I do? I recalibrate and I recommit. I re-engaged. I don't say, I already know what he's gonna say. I already know what to do. I'm just gonna go on my way because I remember how things used to be. And here's the thing. If you're like me, we need to be reminded. If you're like me, you probably shut off that little voice that used to drive you. We shut it off or we suppress it so much we don't even hear it anymore. So when you hear me speak or Carla or Coach Isaiah or some of the other agents, it resonates with you for a little while until the consistency overwhelms you because you stop doing the work. And here's the thing, we're all guilty of stopping, right? We're all guilty of not doing our best every day. But that does not mean to run away.